separated from darkness.
Hey guys, what's up? This is gonna be my video review for the album Void by War of Ages. Now I want to say that I haven't actually prepared for this review in terms of writing anything down. I've just listened to the album about 2 times through, and while I read the lyrics. So if it seems that some things are off in terms of what I say or whatever, it's because I'm looking for a more organic feel to my YouTube channel lately. I will be cutting this into pieces, but basically I just feel like going off the top of my head instead of writing everything out for a more organic feel. So first off, I want to say that this particular album, and War of Ages in general, seems to get a lot more complicated the more time that goes on. These are some pretty complex songs that they are doing in this album, and it's actually kind of refreshing, I would say. Also, it seems that they got a keyboardist, and the keyboardist really seems to fill in the whole emptiness of sound, and so everything sounds really full, like, all the time. And I think part of that is because of the keyboardist that they got. Now I haven't looked that up, but that's what it sounds like to me. Second of all, this album is really where it excels is in the complexity and the richness of the particular album. And there are simpler songs and more complex songs, but all the songs are, I think they're complex enough that you almost have to listen to them more than once, maybe like once, twice, 3 times. But another thing that I have to say is when you read along in the lyrics with what's going on in the musically, it really paints a different picture of what is it that they're trying to say. And that leads me to the third point is these guys really have something to say in this album. They're not just off the cuff producing music for no reason. These guys seem like they really have a message that they want to impart on its listeners. What this album reminds me of is something like you can't always tell if they're talking about old things or new things, and it's kind of cool. So it's like something old, something new, something broken, something blue, or something like that. I don't know, but it's pretty cool. You can't always tell if they're talking about Genesis or Revelation or what's going on there, and it gives it a very cool sort of open to interpretation sort of feel to it. That is if you are reading along in the lyrics. It seems that they structure their songs in one of mostly 2 ways, and there's always usually a break at about the 3/5 part of the song, or halfway through the song. That gives a sort of different element of the song of what you're looking at. There's also some really interesting things in terms of the album layout. The first, I want to say 5 songs, up until it gets to Sulfur and Salt, seem to be all one category, and then you have 3 songs titled Greed, Envy, and Wrath, and these 3, and then there's a 4th one that kind of, I believe, kind of combines it, and these would be another part of the album, which would be the tying up everything would be the song Jezebel. Wrapping things up with the song Jezebel, which is really quite a complex song by pretty much any metric. It's maybe not the most complex song ever written, but it's quite complex. And then finally, you have the songs Brotherhood and Return at the end. So that's what I mean when I say that it seems like you can't always tell if they're talking about Genesis or the time that Jesus was around, or Revelation, what happened in Revelation. Like especially Return seems, the last song on the album seems to be a strong song alluding to the book of Revelation. And I thought that was really cool. It goes 5 songs, 4 songs, 2 songs. That's sort of the way out that they have it. The first 5 songs are kind of the bigger chunk of the album because there's only 11 songs off the album. But these really paint a story of the fall of man and what happens when man gets off track and tries to do things himself.
This life is hell without you. I was written out to fail you. My world is fading faster now.
The next 3 songs really allude to another way of saying the fall of man, or carnal sins that you would see people falling prey to. If you can, listen, check out the lyrics while you listen to the song. Now, this is something that I try to do with all my reviews before I do them, is to listen along with the lyrics, because it provides a more structure for the music, and the music provides structure for the lyrics, and so sometimes you get an idea of what was made first between the lyrics and the music, and sometimes it seems like they kind of go at the same time, sort of thing. And I think a lot of these, most of it was done at the same time. It does seem like they sort of had this plan of what the writing was going to be like before they went and did the album. It does seem like the album largely tells a story, and it tells sort of the same story. And what I would say is that the first song on the album, which is, let me check what it is real quick. It is The Watchers. The Watchers seems to encapsulate the whole album as a whole, really. And then it looks like it goes into the second song, and the second song seems to be about creation and the fall. In terms of how it actually sounds, like I said, there's rich notes. They play a lot. They play a lot around with different melodies, and it's almost like they sometimes structure different melodies down the line, like the guitars here, and then keyboard and drums are usually underneath. The drums are really there to set the beat of the rhythm to keep the steady rhythm of the song, but also the keyboarding is kind of not really a melody. It's more like more like for atmosphere, I would say. So it's really cool for that to fill in sort of some blanks there. And then as far as the bass is concerned, there are some parts in the album where the bass is very noticeable. Not in every part of the song, every song, but in some parts of the song you can really hear that slap in the bass. So all instruments really get their fair share, their fair shake in this album. Now, when I do my video reviews from this point on, I would say is I'm going to use a certain category that I'm going to go by in order to judge a song or judge an album or something like that. Let me run you through the categories right quick. So the first one is going to be a steady backbeat or a steady rhythm or something of that sort. The second thing is going to be whether the music is rich and complex or not. The third thing is going to be pretty much a given for most songs that we listen to, which is basically whether or not there's notes, whether or not there's a scale to the music, that sort of thing. And fourthly is going to be whether or not the composition of the actual songs and the album and whatever, where things are placed, playing this, then this, then this, or whatever, that sort of order. And then finally, as a fifth category, I'm going to be using what's called listenability, which is basically tying in everything together and sort of giving a kind of how pleasing is it to the ears when you listen to the song or album. I will say that overall, the initial listenability of these songs is maybe not the highest, but with hearing them multiple times, they get to be more acclimated and you understand what's going on in them. As far as a rating, if I'm gonna say, a checklist about whether they've done so and so, and I'm gonna assign a 2-point rating, it would be an 8. But I really think that this is a better album than an 8, because there's really a lot of complexity in the writing and how they jump from topic to topic and how they're split up into different categories, and the general it's one of those albums that I can see myself listening to for like a long time, and a year down the road, I haven't listened to that in a while, I think I'll put it in and see what it's like, and then just love it again. So that seems to be the kind of album that this is. My final rating is probably going to be like a 9.1 or so. I think it's that good. I think it's pretty good. So yeah, that's what I have for you guys here today. Thanks for watching. Bye.